Have you ever had a time in your life where you genuinely didn't want a serious relationship, but still wanted connection and chemistry? Fling is a dating app that's designed for this intention, where you can meet people who are on the same page and there's no pressure to define what you're looking for, whether you're coming out of a relationship or divorce, or you just don't have the time to really date. Fling is a great alternative to get back out there because casual dating is only problematic when we aren't aligned on expectations. You can keep things light, be upfront about your intentions, and connect with people who are looking for the same vibe. And the best part is that for women, Fling is completely free to join. You can sign up and start using the app immediately without any paywall standing in the way. You also get to choose who can see you, share photos privately, and keep things discreet, which gives you more control over the experience. It's time as women we reclaim the Fling in a way that works for us. Download the Fling app in the App Store or visit fling.me today. Again, you can download the Fling app in the App Store or visit fling.me today. I feel like summer always makes you reassess your wardrobe a little bit, right? You suddenly want lighter fabrics, softer materials, pieces that look polished without trying too hard. And that's exactly why I keep going back to Quince. They make high-quality essentials like breathable European linen, washable silk, soft organic cotton, but without the insane luxury markup. I am literally dressed head to toe in Quince right now, Quince linen that is, and it's basically become my personality at this point. I've got the linen tank and the matching linen pants. It's comfortable enough to wear all day, but I still feel put together on calls, errands, dinner, and even recording podcasts. And their stuff is surprisingly affordable. Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/DATEABLE for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
For a long time, I confused anxiety with chemistry. But what I didn't realize is anxiety is often data, not always truth, but information. Sometimes your anxiety is revealing an old wound you need to heal, and sometimes it's picking up on inconsistency, uncertainty, or a dynamic that genuinely doesn't feel safe. The problem is when we either ignore it completely or believe it blindly. The better question is, what is this anxiety actually trying to tell me? And that's what we're digging into today. I'm Julie.
And I'm Yue, and we're sharing what we learned the hard way so you don't have to. Anxiety.
Favorite topic. We get so many questions about anxiety of like, what is this trying to tell me? Does it mean I'm with the wrong person? Or is this my own stuff to figure out? And I think the answer is maybe an unsatisfactory one, but a little bit of both is what I would say.
We're going to have to manage anxiety for forever. It's not like there's someone so secure that they have no anxiety. Everybody has some sort of anxiety. But what is fascinating about how it shows up in dating is that we do think it's butterflies. Those moments of unknown or uncertainty, or is he going to call me back? What does he mean by this text? It shows up as chemistry, like, oh, I'm so intrigued by this person, when they're actually just being inconsistent and giving you all sorts of anxiety.
I do think, though, some people are prone to anxiety more than others. And I think it's up to us to understand ourselves and where we fall on that spectrum. I remember when I was like in dating, anxiety was like my thing. Like whenever, I wouldn't hear back from someone, I would get so anxious. And I actually went to this like online program because I thought like my anxiety was like further than dating. And I realized it actually wasn't. It was just in dating. But now, years later, I actually realize I just have anxiety. And the reason why it wasn't showing up in other parts of life is because those were actually pretty secure. And dating was the unknown for me. And now I'm feeling anxiety in other parts that aren't relationships because that is secure for me. So I think a lot of it might have to do with just your level of uncertainty. And, dating is inherently uncertain. And for me, I realize like that is what gives me anxiety. So knowing that though is I guess, twofold is one, you know about yourself that even the right person is going to come along and you still might have these like thoughts and doubts
Yeah.
that come in just because of how you're wired. And then the second part is though, you can manage it and you can even share it with them. Like early on, I shared with my partner, I was like, hey, the one thing that really gets me is like when, I feel like things are going good and then I suddenly don't hear back for like hours on end.
Mm-hmm.
And, with that, he really met me and he was like, thank you for sharing that. I will do whatever I can. Like obviously if I'm like in a meeting or asleep or something, like I might not respond, but I will do whatever in my power knowing that to like make that not happen. So like I can relieve that anxiety. So some of it is finding the right partner that will meet you, but some of it is managing your own stuff too. You can't expect a partner to necessarily like save that and make it disappear completely.
So it sounds like you have to create the right environment where you can feel as secure as you can, that's within your control, so that you can lessen that anxiety. And in dating, most of us have anxiety around the unknowns. So yeah, you may not know where this relationship is going, but at least you'll know whether you have plans or not on Wednesday with this person because they haven't confirmed, and you can reach out and confirm, creating that environment with factors that are in your control. But what about all the factors that are not in your control that give us so much anxiety? It's the, where's this going? How do they really feel about me? Do I feel like this is the right person for me? How do we handle that sort of anxiety?
I mean, I'll at least speak to my own experience. It was getting really secure with myself and really getting to a place that I was okay whether I had a relationship or not, and my happiness kind of not depending on that. So like, yeah, I met someone, even like when I met my husband, I remember like talking to my friend about it and her being like, oh, what do you think's going to happen? I'm like, look, like I like him. He's great, but we've been on one date and I'm just like seeing where it goes. And I think that was such a different place than I was in like even like 5 years ago. Like that was like a complete 180. Like I'm thinking back to like, a relationship prior and I was just so anxious all the time. Like the British guy that I dated, I always felt anxious. I was always like staring down my phone, waiting. And I think a lot of it was that maybe we weren't like I could feel that like we weren't fully on the same page. But I also think it was like the place in life I was that I didn't know how to manage it. I wasn't secure in myself. So instead of being comfortable and being like, I'm just going to like let this reveal the data, like use this as data to like understand, is this person right for me? I wanted to like control it instead of let it reveal.
And then we get addicted to that kind of anxiety and we mistaken it for chemistry. I'm sure we've all dated someone where we're staring down our phone waiting for that text. And then you do meet up with them in person and you're like, the chemistry's through the roof. We have such a connection. Sometimes that could be true. Most time it's because you spent so much time in anxiety that when it resolves because you've met up in person, you've set up this grand story for this person that you are mistakening that as, real chemistry. And I've definitely had those connections before where because I haven't heard from someone in a long time or they're inconsistent, that buildup makes me feel like we must have something special because I've spent a lot of time in anxiety creating stories.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is also like the IKEA effect, which I love the name of that, but it's like the harder you work or feel like you're working for something, the more you appreciate it. And I think like in situations like this, even if you're not doing any, I don't know, it's like you're not even doing any active work, but like the passive work of just constantly thinking and putting effort and mind to this person, it almost feels like it's more serious than it is because of that.
That's hilarious. I feel like we need to explain the IKEA effect to the younger generations who did not grow up with IKEA, who probably would never step foot inside an IKEA. IKEA is notoriously known for furniture you have to assemble in the most complex manner possible. Like some of their furniture would take you 10 plus hours to assemble. But the IKEA effect is after you're done, you're so proud of the work that you did because you had invested all this time. And then you start convincing yourself, this must be the most beautiful piece of furniture that I've ever owned, or this is the furniture that was meant for me because I spent all this time on it.
I love that, a behavioral scientist, Dan Ariely, like turned it into like, this concept that's not just furniture assembly, but of course that's the origin, what you just explained. And I do think it explains dating so much. Like think about how many times we've kind of gone to that place that we think the harder we work, the more effort we put in, the more we think about something, the more that it means more. And that's not true at all.
No. And the more time you are spending thinking about this person, you're actually building up their credits in your mind because you are using that mental space. But that person was not involved in this journey at all. You're the one that's spending all this time and mental real estate on them. So that's why a lot of times it is mismatched because you're like, wait, but we're meant to be. I've invested so much in you. But it's been a one-way street.
So here's a question I've been thinking about. I want your take on is because I think for me, one way I learned to manage anxiety, and maybe I swung too far, was that I took control of every situation. So instead of being freaking out, being oh my God, why am I not hearing from this person? I would just be the one to message them. And I think there's some merit to that. We always say get your answers. Don't just wait and spend all your time waiting. I think 100% still in agreement there. But I think the downside of that was that I never let someone reveal themselves because you were always taking action, right? So if you're always reaching out, they're going to respond, but you don't really see how into it they are. And I think with the guy I mentioned, I would get a lot of anxiety waiting. And, some of it was when I would wait, and then it would also get to that place of almost forcing myself to wait to have that back and forth, but then getting more anxiety because of that. And, other times, I would just be the one initiating. I think at the beginning, I waited, I got a lot of anxiety. Then I went into I'm going to be the one initiating all the time. And then that didn't feel good either. And I'm curious your take because I see both. I think at the end of the day, though, it just wasn't the right person and I wasn't in the right headspace is probably what I would equate it to.
Yeah, if you have to compromise who you are and your authentic self in order to manage the anxiety, you're probably not with the right dynamic. Right? That's what I think. Am I compromising who I am naturally? And that's what you're talking about. That's just not who you are. But you feel like you have to force yourself to do these things to manage the anxiety. But we also have to, I think if we had to force ourselves to do anything, is to communicate the anxiety. Don't try to just manage it. If you communicate with your partner like Julie did with hers, if the right person's receptive to it and they'll help you manage it, and the wrong person will be like, well, I do me, you do you. Right. And this is how it's going to go down. Then you have your answer. And the best way to get out of that anxiety loophole is to just get out of that relationship.
I mean, I think I did see that night and day, in my current relationship. I just didn't think about it because I would just reach out when I wanted to, but he was also reaching out all the time. So it never felt like I was doing all the work or I was withholding. Where in this other one, it always felt like it was this, this energy I had to put to managing the relationship and managing that part of it. And it's so exhausting. And to me, that is a sign right there. It would have been an opportunity. It doesn't mean you have to end it and throw it in the towel. It could be an opportunity to have a discussion because I remember feeling a lot in the work day. I remember always checking my phone and I don't, that some people just don't want to be texting in the work day. So that could have just been it didn't necessarily mean they didn't like you, but just by sitting in that so much, it was just unhealthy.
Yeah. And then not knowing the answer. And then
Right.
you having a million possible answers in your head, like they must be busy, they must be out with someone else, they must be dead.
They lost interest. Yeah.
Yeah, all of it is playing in your head. Everything, every scenario is going through your mind except for the truth or the reality, which is sometimes we just need to get answers on just to ask. But the word of caution with anxiety is sometimes when you're with someone who doesn't bring up that anxiety in you, you can mistaken that for boredom.
Yeah.
We have nothing in common. He or she is so boring. We have no chemistry because your nervous system is so regulated around this person. So the word of caution there is if you feel like there's boredom, quote unquote, maybe it's time to step back and ask, is this boredom or actually just a lack of anxiety in this dynamic?
Yeah. And I think some of that is where you are entering the relationship world and dating world too. Do you appreciate that or do you feel like something's missing from it? And I want to go into that more because I think there's more to unpack. But before we do, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors.
Time to get comfortable with Avocado Green Mattress. Their certified organic mattresses are specifically designed to relieve pressure points, support your body the way it needs, and help you actually get the deep, restorative sleep you've been missing. Every mattress is made with thoughtfully sourced materials and built with real care, so you get incredible sleep night after night. I'm proud to say I can now tell the difference between something that's just marketed well versus something that's actually well made. Like if I'm spending that much time in bed, hopefully sleeping, but occasionally spiraling, I want the mattress underneath me to actually support my body. Am I spiraling? It feels like one of those grown-up purchases where you're like, oh yeah, this is what quality feels like. Avocado products are made, not manufactured, and thoughtfully crafted with real materials to deliver lasting comfort and support. Go to avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattresses and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable. avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable. Your home is more than just furniture. It's an extension of who you are, and the details matter more than you think. Like a rug. The right rug can completely transform how a space feels. And that's why I'm obsessed with my Ruggable. I went with this warm, neutral, boho-inspired design for my living room with earthy tones and a fun pattern, and it instantly made the whole space feel more intentional. Like, oh, someone put some thought into this. And what sealed the deal for me is that it's completely machine washable. Like my dog Mojo does not care about interior design, and neither does Red Wine apparently. So I've thrown it in the wash and it comes out looking brand new every time. It's built for real life. Refresh your home at ruggable.com. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with promo code DATEABLE at ruggable.com. That's ruggable.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout.
For all my fantasy romance lovers, there is a book for you to check out called Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick. It was an instant New York Times bestseller and started as a huge indie book talk hit. So if you've seen people raving online, this is the book. If you love dark romantasy, this one delivers. It's got fae, dragons, gods, shifters, vampires, basically everything you want, plus a really unique twist with modern technology woven into the fantasy world. It truly felt like you were being transported into a new world as I was reading this, which to be honest was the relief I needed for the crazy world we're living in. What I really liked too was that this series emphasizes mental health as the female main character is battling depression and anxiety, which ends up being a major plot point for the book. It's on sale now, so if you've been looking for your next fantasy binge, this is it. You can find Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick wherever books are sold in print and ebook. I think that's a big piece though, because when I definitely remember some situations where someone was reaching out all the time and it always felt easy and there was something nice about it, but I just wasn't attracted and interested and the chemistry wasn't there. And sometimes I look back and I was like, I wonder if I'd met that person when I was more ready, would I felt different, or was it just not the right fit? And sometimes it's not the right fit. I think, though, what is important in that is to not judge it on like, are there butterflies or not, but like look at it like a little bit more analytical. I think like with this person, I eventually realized I actually don't really laugh around them. And I think
Mm,
that to me is actually like a fundamental issue. It's not just no chemistry. So
mhm.
in that case, maybe this person just wasn't right for me, like wherever I was.
Yeah. And it's important to understand, to separate, I'm not interested in this person
Yeah,
because of the lack of like humor alignment versus there's no anxiety, right? Like you have to separate the two
right.
and don't always equate no anxiety to not interested. So it's good that you stepped back and thought, okay, what is the real reason here? But when someone is catering to you, who is consistent with you and showing up for you, and you're not used to it, it's going to feel different at first. And sometimes it
Yeah.
may feel like this is a little much.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like, oh, this person's coming on strong, or this person's really persistent. Remember, that's what you asked for and that's what you want. So are you being receptive to that behavior, or are you being resistant? And if you are resistant, sometimes that could be a sign for you too, that you may not actually be ready for that
Right.
kind of constant contact that you wanted.
Think it's how we measure excitement in a relationship. Like excitement can feel like, I'm really vibing with this person. We're so compatible. We have so much to talk about. I think that's like healthy excitement. We're excited to see each other again, all that.
Hmm.
Unhealthy excitement is like, I don't know where I stand. When am I going to see them again? Like, when are they going to text me? Like all these, like it only happens because something's missing, not because something is additive. So like, where is that excitement stemming from? Is it because you're not getting the thing, or you actually are getting the thing?
Yeah. And then it's also good to know that, are you just with someone who is a yes person, or someone who is aligned and compatible with you? I bring up my ex a lot, the 2-year relationship, because I had been on so many anxiety-ridden dates
Yeah.
before him that when he came along, he was a yes person. Plot twist. But in the beginning, I was like, oh, he's so consistent and shows up all the time and is so communicative. But I think a year into that relationship, I realized he was just a yes person. He didn't want to ruffle any feathers and had no opinions because he wanted to just this relationship to just go my way. And that's not compatibility either, because he is the one suppressing his needs. And eventually all that shit's going to come out, right? So it's like sometimes the compatibility, the alignment is not about, oh, this feels easy, but it's about like this person's listening and receiving what I'm asking for, and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying like enter like a boring relationship, right? It's more of
Right.
like, are there other areas that aren't boring? Like, I think your biggest gripes, I don't want to speak for you fully, but like as your friend, when I talked to you, is like, I don't want to just be like watching TV all the time and not having like
Yeah.
interesting convos. So I think like if that was there, if you were feeling like emotionally fulfilled or intellectually stimulated, maybe like that would have worked. But like because like that was there, that was missing, that was like the true era of boring. Like it wasn't like they weren't like, calling you back and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have to know what you're looking for. Maybe there
Right.
was a phase in my life where I just wanted to sit on the couch and watch TV with someone, not have stimulating conversations. That's okay too. We're not judging any of that, but it's like you have to understand what you're looking for in that relationship and be able to know how to ask for it and see if this person's receptive to it. And sometimes you're right, it doesn't have to do with just the communication aspect.
Yeah. So I guess like if you find yourself feeling really anxious, I think step one is to figure out like, is this something that happens in other parts of life or other dates? Like even if it's just to dating, Like, is this just this person that's bringing out, or is this like a repeated pattern? Because whether it's like finding the right person or not, I think getting a hold of your own anxiety is
Yeah.
actually a lifelong benefit because, like I said, it's going to eventually seep into other parts of life too. And I don't think that means that you have to go from like having anxiety to having zero anxiety. I just don't think that's realistic. And to hold ourselves to that standard is also like not serving us. Like, we're not going to like not date until we're like anxiety free. What I did personally was like, I looked at the areas that gave me anxiety, and it was like the texting. That was like the big one for me. So it wasn't like I was coming to a partner with like all these anxieties. It was like, this is the real thing. That's the driver. This is the one thing, like everything else is debatable, but this is the area that like really gets me.
Yeah. And then communicate it. Or I think that's the key point of this conversation is we all have anxiety, understand the root cause of it, and then communicate that aspect of anxiety with the people you're seeing and dating. Because if you just suppress it, you don't talk about it, nobody's going to know these things give you anxiety. Some of us are very good at masking and hiding it. The goal is not to mask or hide it. It's to communicate it out.
Do you have an example of any time you've shared something with anxiety that might be different than my texting example, just to show like the range of where it can go?
I think this person shared it with me. I actually was on the receiving end when I canceled a date the day of because of a scheduling conflict. And this guy was like, it doesn't make me feel good when plans get canceled last minute. I would like a more of a heads up, but this also puts the ball in your court. So please, if you are still interested in seeing me, plan the next one and show up. That really, that was a call in for sure. Cause I kind of treated, when you're like casually dating and meeting people on apps, you just treat everyone casually. And I was like, this last minute appointment came up. I'm just going to cancel this date. But he was like, actually, no, I take this seriously. This gives me anxiety when people can't cancel last minute. Makes me feel like you're not prioritizing my time. So if you do want to see me, prioritize my time and then show up.
Yeah, I think that's really key too of like how you say it. Because I remember you giving that example like when it was happening, and it actually made you be like, oh, damn, like this person knows what they're looking for. And it almost came off like they're more secure. Like they're not going to hunt you down. Like they're, going to go for someone that's giving back to them. And I think that is the key. Like when I went to my husband and shared this, it wasn't after he did something wrong. It was like proactive, because I think when you're approaching it like, I'm just going to hold it in, and then they do something that like isn't aligned, it becomes more, I don't know, like an attack, whether you're like planning that or not, whether it's more, I mean, I guess your example, it was in response to you doing something. So not fully, but I guess it's more of just like the way you say it. Maybe that's what it comes down. It's like how you say it. He wasn't like, oh, you're like an unreliable person and you're like, not, I don't know. He wasn't like blaming as much. It was more like, this is what I need. This is what works for me. And if you can't do that, then like, we're just not a match.
And I think the result of that was actually very surprising to me, because I think on one hand, it gave me more respect for him and made me take him more seriously. And on the other hand, it made me realize I didn't have the capacity to date seriously like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of opted out and said, I can't be that person for you. But thank God we communicated that before even our first date. So I could just take myself out of the running instead of like wasting both of our time totally on different sides of the coin.
Right. And I think the last bit too of like, evaluating partners through this lens of chemistry, we need to change our definition of what chemistry is. And I like this, like, is there excitement because it's there or excitement because it's gone. Like it's like
Right.
something you're trying to like grab because like it's not there. And I think really being objective and evaluating that clearly and not making excuses for the person, not always being the one to rush to message because like you're the one single-handedly holding this relationship together, or at least taking inventory if that is you and be like, is this the relationship I want? I think I need to talk to them.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully this helped people that are going through it. We got to do a whole other episode too about just managing anxiety, because that's like another whole thing of like, what can you do to manage it? I'll say going for a walk. I know that's like an elementary one, but getting it into your body was like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And then downloading our studio app, because you can talk to our AI-enabled coach that we've trained through our 10 plus years of doing Dateable. Actually, getting those thoughts out on text through words is a great way to manage anxiety.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we will see you next week for another What We Wish We Knew Back Then.
Bye.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.